Did you know that traditional gardening practices can contribute to environmental damage? An unexpected fact, isn't it? We often see gardening as a green hobby, but some common practices can actually harm our planet. Overwatering, for instance, leads to water wastage. Using non-native plants can disrupt local ecosystems, and synthetic fertilizers, they can contribute to climate change. It's a hidden impact we seldom consider. But don't worry, there's a solution: sustainable gardening. Sustainable gardening minimizes environmental harm and can even contribute positively to local ecosystems. So what does sustainable gardening mean? Well, in essence, it's about creating a garden that's in harmony with nature, not against it. It involves practices that enrich the soil, conserve water, protect local wildlife, and reduce waste. Imagine a garden that not only brings joy to you, but also to the birds, bees, and butterflies that visit. A garden that reduces your carbon footprint, saves water, and even produces nutrient-rich compost from kitchen scraps. That's the beauty of sustainable gardening. The benefits don't stop there. Sustainable gardening can also improve your health, as you're not using chemical pesticides and fertilizers. Plus, it can reduce your grocery bills if you're growing your own fruits and veggies. So how can you make your garden more sustainable? Let's dive in. Composting is the first step towards a sustainable garden. Now let's dive into the magic of composting, a process that turns everyday waste into a gardener's gold. Composting is the natural decomposition of organic materials into a rich, dark, crumbly substance called compost. Think of it as a way of recycling your kitchen scraps and yard waste, turning them into nourishment for your garden. Not only does this reduce the amount of waste ending up in landfills, but it also enriches your soil, promoting healthier plant growth. Starting a compost pile is easier than you might think. It's all about achieving a balance between greens and browns. Green materials are rich in nitrogen and include things like vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, and fresh grass clippings. When it comes to sustainable gardening, native plants are the way to go. Now you might be wondering, what's so special about native plants? Well, let's start with the basics. Native plants are those that have evolved in a particular region, adapting to its climate, soil, and local wildlife. They're like a piece of the ecological puzzle, fitting perfectly into the environment they come from. One of the main advantages of native plants is their incredible adaptability. They've spent thousands of years adjusting to local conditions. They can handle the heat, the cold, the rain, and the drought. This means they generally require less maintenance than exotic species, saving you time, effort, and resources. And speaking of resources, let's talk about water. The average garden can guzzle down a staggering amount of water, but not if it's filled with native plants. These local heroes are used to the rainfall patterns in your area. They've developed strategies to survive dry periods, making them a great choice for water-wise gardening. But the benefits don't stop there. Native plants are like a welcome sign for local wildlife. They provide food and habitat for birds, butterflies, bees, and other beneficial creatures. A garden filled with native plants can become a sanctuary for biodiversity, a place where life thrives. So, how do you find and choose native plants for your garden? Start by visiting local nurseries, botanical gardens, or native plant sales. Look for plants that suit your garden's conditions. Consider sunlight, soil type, and available space. And don't forget about the seasons. Choose a variety of plants that provide year-round interest, from spring flowers to autumn colors. And if you're not sure where to start, ask for advice. Local gardeners, horticulturists, and native plant societies are usually more than happy to share their knowledge. Let their experience guide you as you create a garden that's not only beautiful, but also sustainable. Remember, the right plant in the right place makes all the difference. So let's make a difference together, one native plant at a time. Water is a precious resource, and sustainable gardeners know how to use it wisely. Let's dive into the world of water conservation in the garden, an essential aspect of sustainable gardening. Now, imagine a garden that thrives while using less water. How is it possible? Well, it's all about smart choices and smart strategies. One ingenious method of water conservation is the use of rain barrels. These barrels collect and store rainwater from your roof that would otherwise be lost to runoff and diverted to storm drains. The collected water can then be used during dry periods to water plants, saving you from using tap water. But the magic of water conservation doesn't stop there. Let's talk about drip irrigation. Unlike traditional sprinklers, which can be wasteful due to evaporation, wind, or runoff, drip irrigation delivers water directly to the base of the plant. This method is incredibly efficient, reducing water use by up to 50% compared to conventional watering methods. Now, what about the plants themselves? Choosing drought-tolerant plants is another effective strategy. These hardy heroes of the garden can survive with minimal water, making them perfect for a sustainable garden. From succulents and sage to lavender and yucca, there's a wide variety of drought-tolerant plants that can add beauty to your garden while keeping water usage low. And why is water conservation so important? Well, besides the obvious environmental benefits, conserving water in your garden can also lead to a reduction in utility bills. It's a win-win situation for you and the planet. Remember, in a world where water is becoming increasingly scarce, every drop counts. By conserving water, you're not just creating a sustainable garden, but also contributing to a sustainable world. So, whether it's a rain barrel catching the sky's bounty, a drip irrigation system delivering water directly to your plant's roots, or a garden full of drought-tolerant plants, every sustainable gardener has the power to make a difference. Every drop counts, especially in a sustainable garden. A sustainable garden is a haven for all forms of life. It's a vibrant tapestry woven with countless threads of biodiversity. From the smallest insects to the chirping birds, every creature plays a crucial role in the symphony of nature. These creatures are not just visitors to our gardens. They are gardeners themselves, each contributing to the health and vitality of our green spaces. Insects pollinate flowers, helping plants to reproduce. Birds, on the other hand, control pests and distribute seeds, facilitating the spread of plants. And when we provide habitats like birdhouses, insect hotels, or simply piles of leaves, we invite these creatures to make our gardens their home. But remember, a healthy garden is a chemical-free garden. Pesticides might seem like a quick fix to pest problems, but they disrupt the balance of nature. They harm beneficial insects and birds, reducing biodiversity. With biodiversity, your garden becomes an ecosystem. It's a self-sustaining living masterpiece where every creature has a role to play. And you as the gardener get to orchestrate this beautiful symphony of life. Now that you've learned about sustainable gardening, it's time to put that knowledge into action. Imagine the satisfaction of nurturing your garden, knowing you're contributing to a healthier planet. Your garden can become a thriving ecosystem, promoting biodiversity, conserving water, and recycling waste. This is not just gardening, it's a lifestyle change, a step towards a sustainable future. Remember, every garden can be a force for good. Start your sustainable gardening journey today.